Welcome back to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. Today we're plunging into something really fascinating. It's where pure mathematics meets the vast blue mystery of our ocean. Get ready to see the deep like maybe never before. Okay, so our mission today, we want to uncover the surprising presence of these two, legendary mathematical patterns, the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio, and how they're sort of woven throughout oceanography. We'll explore how they show up in the tiniest marine life, in huge ocean phenomena, and even in, how scientists actually study the deep. You're definitely in for some genuine aha moments here.
Yeah, what's truly captivating, I think, is how these concepts, which seem so abstract, right, pure math, they don't just appear randomly in nature. They often represent these deep underlying principles. Things like efficiency, growth, even beauty. And the ocean, well, it's just this incredible canvas for these patterns. It's diversity, it's dynamics, it's all there.
Okay, so before we really dive in, let's just quickly refresh ourselves on these famous numbers. We hear about Fibonacci everywhere, art, architecture, but how does the sequence actually work?
Right, so at its core, the Fibonacci sequence is pretty simple. Each number is just the sum of the two numbers that came before. It usually starts 0, 1. So you get 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and onwards. It was popularized by Fibonacci Leonardo of Pisa way back in the 1200s.
And tied very closely to this is its, let's say, more famous cousin, the golden ratio.
That's right, the golden ratio, often written as phi, the Greek letter. It's an irrational number, around 1.618. And the really cool part is, as you go further up the Fibonacci sequence, if you take any two consecutive numbers and divide them, say 13 by 8 or 21 by 13, that ratio gets closer and closer and closer to this golden ratio, this divine number. It's a constant that just sort of pops up everywhere.
It really does seem to be everywhere. Sunflowers, tree branches, galaxies. But today, we're specifically looking at where it shows up right here, under the waves. Okay, so from these abstract numbers, where do we first start seeing their fingerprints in the ocean itself? This is where it gets really interesting. How these patterns appear in actual marine life. Some very direct connections here. You can actually spot direct Fibonacci numbers in the basic body plans of lots of marine animals. Think about sea stars or sand dollars. Many of them have 5 points or arms, 5, a Fibonacci number. Or squids and octopuses. They're famous for having 8 arms, another one.
Right, 8. It's almost like nature's counting using Fibonacci's rule sometimes, and it goes beyond just counting arms or points. We see it in the actual architecture of how things grow. There's this phenomenon called phyllotaxis, like in a sunflower head or a pine cone, how the seeds or scales spiral.
Yeah, those mesmerizing spirals. Yep.
Exactly. That's phyllotaxis. It's nature's way of arranging things, like leaves or seeds, super efficiently. And often, the number of spirals going one way and the number going the other way, they're two consecutive Fibonacci numbers.
That's a great way to think about it. And the key marine example, diatoms, these microscopic phytoplankton, absolutely crucial base of the food web stuff. They're tiny silica shells. They have pores and ribs arranged in these phyllotaxis spirals. Often counts like 5 and 8 or 8 and 13.
And it's not just pretty, right? It's functional.
Totally. It's an incredibly efficient way to pack structures, maximize their surface area for light, for nutrients. It's elegant problem solving on a tiny scale.
It's not just microbes, larger things too. Look at sea anemones like Stymphecoccinia or certain sea stars, Dermasterias imbricata. Studies show their tentacles are often arranged using the same method. The angle between tentacles, it's usually very close to the Fibonacci angle, about 137.5 degrees.
Why that specific angle?
Well, mathematically, it's proven to be the best angle for packing things radially without big gaps or too much overlap. It ensures each tentacle gets, maximum exposure to food in the water, or maybe it helps with defense.
Wow. And it even scales up to complex animals like dolphins.
Yeah, it seems so. Researchers looked at body proportions, the distances between key points, like from the snout tip to the blowhole, then blowhole to dorsal fin, and dorsal fin to the tail fluke. These distances often approximate ratios of consecutive Fibonacci numbers.
So it makes them look nice, aesthetically pleasing.
Well, maybe to us, yeah. But more importantly, it likely contributes to them being incredibly hydrodynamic. Think less drag, faster swimming, saving energy. Huge advantages in the ocean, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So these patterns showing up again and again, it's not just coincidence.
Rarely is in biology, I'd say. If you connect it to the bigger picture, the prevalence of Fibonacci numbers, the golden ratio, it often points to nature finding an optimal solution, usually to a packing problem. How to arrange parts most efficiently, to maximize light, nutrient strength, whatever's needed for survival. It's like underlying optimal design.
Okay, these patterns seem pretty common, but sometimes what we think we know maybe isn't quite right. Let's talk about a classic example,
Yeah.
the Nautilus shell. It's beautiful, and for ages it's been the poster child, right? The perfect Fibonacci spiral in nature, chambers growing according to the ratio.
Ah, yes, the Nautilus. And this is where, well, the deep dive takes a bit of a myth-busting turn. It raises a really important question. What's the actual truth behind this super widespread belief?
Oh, so it's not quite right.
Well, it is a stunning logarithmic spiral, no doubt. But some mathematicians, Clement Falbo, John Sharp, they actually measured real Nautilus shells. And what they found was the growth ratio. It's closer to 1.33, not the golden ratio, 1.618.
And 1.33 versus 1.618. That's a pretty big difference.
It is significant, yeah. To put it in perspective, a Nautilus spiral roughly triples its radius with each full turn. A true golden ratio spiral. It grows way faster, expands by almost 7 times per full turn.
Wow.
So it really underlines how important actual measurement is, instead of just assuming based on how nice it looks. For the Nautilus Pompilius, anyway, the data tells a slightly different story than the popular myth.
Okay, so maybe the Nautilus isn't the perfect example, but does that mean the golden ratio isn't found in any shells?
No, not at all. It's more nuanced. Other studies, like one on various mollusk shells from India, they did find that the ratios of axes in their growth rings do approximate the divine number, things like 1.660, 1.625, 1.615.
Ah.
So the golden ratio definitely seems to appear in some shell growth patterns, just maybe not in that one super famous example we always point to.
Got it. So the ocean's math secrets aren't just in the creatures. What about the water itself? The physics. From tiny ripples to huge currents. Do these numbers show up in the dynamics?
They seem to, yes, in more abstract ways, maybe, but still there. Some observations suggest ocean waves, as they dissipate from large swells down to small ripples, can follow decreasing Fibonacci ratios.
Interesting.
And the golden ratio itself. It's been linked to spiral patterns seen in everything from DNA up to the structure within large ocean waves.
Can you elaborate a bit on the waves?
Sure. In fluid dynamics, scientists look at stable wave groups. These are like packets of waves that can travel really far without breaking apart. Turns out, some of their fundamental properties seem to be closely related to the golden ratio. It suggests a kind of inherent order even in complex waves. And then there's ocean turbulence. Looks chaotic.
Holy chaotic.
But it's actually a classic fractal system, meaning it has similar patterns at different scales. Zoom in, zoom out, you see similar complexity. And the math used to describe these fractal patterns often involves things related to Fibonacci logic, like Fibonacci word fractals.
So even turbulence has a hidden mathematical order.
Seems like it. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it reveals this underlying mathematical structure in fluid dynamics, nature finding efficient self-organizing forms again.
And this applies even on a massive scale, like planetary scale.
Yeah, get this. Research into atmospheric equatorial waves. These are enormous waves in the atmosphere influencing global weather. Scientists modeling these systems found that for certain conditions, the stable, natural shapes these waves take, they match the Fibonacci spiral exactly.
Seriously, the atmosphere drawing Fibonacci spirals.
For specific model parameters, yeah. It's pretty mind-blowing. The Earth's atmosphere behaving according to this elegant, universal pattern.
Okay, so nature uses these patterns, but are we using them? Humans, I mean, in ocean science.
Oh, absolutely. There's a really clever practical application in how we gather data. Think about sampling the ocean globally, measuring temperature, salinity, carbon, whatever. It's a huge task.
Right. Where do you even put your sensors or take your samples?
Exactly. You have limited resources, and you need to cover a sphere, the Earth, as uniformly as possible. If you just use a standard latitude-longitude grid, what happens?
Everything bunches up near the poles, right?
Precisely. You get way too many samples close together there, and maybe not enough elsewhere. So the solution, a Fibonacci grid for ocean sampling.
A Fibonacci grid, how does that work?
It uses the properties of the golden ratio to distribute a set number of points over a sphere almost perfectly uniformly. It cleverly avoids that polar crowding issue. It's elegant and super practical.
So this isn't just some cool mathematical theory. It's actually solving problems for oceanographers right now.
Exactly. It's praised for being simple and really efficient, especially for climate models and oceanographic models where you need that uniform global coverage. Swinbank and Purser wrote about it back in 2006, calling it a novel approach to global modeling. It works really well.
Wow. Okay, that's ingenious. But for a truly just breathtaking real-world discovery that ties this all together, you mentioned something about humpback whales.
Ah, yes. This is fairly recent and just incredible. Drone footage. It captured humpback whales in Antarctica, creating what looks like a perfect Fibonacci spiral on the ocean surface, with bubbles.
Bubbles? How? Why?
It's part of their feeding strategy. It's called bubble net feeding. And it's highly cooperative. A group of whales dives down, then they swim upwards in a coordinated spiral, blowing bubbles as they go. This creates a net or a wall of bubbles. It visually and acoustically corrals fish or krill into a tight ball near the surface.
Like trapping them.
Exactly. Then the whales surge up through the middle, mouths open, and gulp down a huge meal.
That is amazing. But a Fibonacci spiral, how do they know to do that? Is it conscious?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's so precise. Is it purely about maximum efficiency? Generations of practice leading to the mathematically optimal shape for trapping prey. Or could there be more to it? Some naturalists even wonder if there's an element of play, or maybe it's a complex, culturally learned behavior.
Culturally learned. In whales.
Yeah, these drone studies are showing us so much more about whale behavior. We're seeing this bubble netting now, even in breeding grounds where we didn't think they fed much. And sometimes involving huge groups like 33 whales seen coordinating off Australia. It speaks volumes about their intelligence and social learning.
So, okay, let's try and wrap our heads around this. What does it all mean for us? We've gone from tiny diatoms to waves to shells, maybe not the Nautilus exactly, but others, to how we sample the ocean, and now to whales deliberately making these shapes. It's everywhere.
It really seems to be. And the common thread often is this idea of an optimal solution, an evolutionary answer, usually to a packing or arrangement problem, how to fit things together efficiently, how to maximize growth or strength or catch prey. These mathematical patterns, Fibonacci and the golden ratio, they provide this kind of fundamental framework for efficiency in nature. It really does suggest this elegant underlying mathematical order to the universe playing out in the ocean.
Yeah, we've seen Fibonacci numbers in sea star points, diatom spirals, maybe some shell growth. Then the golden ratio linked to wave dynamics, our own sampling grids, and maybe even those incredible whale bubble nets.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, that the same basic mathematical principles can govern efficiency and growth across completely different scales and types of phenomena. Biology, physics, even our own science, all connected by these numbers.
So maybe the next time you're at the beach, you see a ripple on the water, or a dolphin jump, or just pick up a seashell. Pause for a second. You might just be looking at a fundamental equation of the universe playing out right there. Makes you wonder what other hidden patterns are out there waiting for us to notice, both in nature and maybe within our own curiosity. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.